Good afternoon, everyone. It's Friday night, and you know what that means. It's time for CSHR Random Happenings. Myself and Mr. Harshmed, where we promise not to have pacifiers or coping spaces
Oh my
or
goodness.
therapy.
If you think people are upset now, just remind them of those people. Just remind them of what today is.
What gets me is that these people who are out there like recording themselves crying, recording themselves screaming and everything else, and then posting it on social media for everyone to see. They wanted to run this country. They think they're smarter than everyone else.
Yeah. That's a scary thought, isn't it?
Yeah, they think they're smarter than everyone else. So,
Well, the same BS I dealt with in 2016. Again, everyone dealt with in 2016, especially if you were in those circles at the time. So it's like, none of this is new.
and I want to know where some of these people are getting their information from.
Well, I mean, it's the same nonsense we dealt with in 2016. By with me, I mean people who supported a different candidate besides the one that lost to Trump in 2016. And it's just
Yes
like,
and no, because I see women posting, like, I'm scared for my life. All my rights are going away. Where did anybody say their rights were going to get taken away?
it's the same stuff I saw in 2016 when they say this nonsense. It's like, I remember at the time they would be so quiet that the primary being rigged, but then the minute Trump won, they were all in the streets protesting. You crying, "Not my president, not my president. What about my rights, my rights, my rights?" And I'm just like, these people are insane. They have no logic.
Kennedy's going to get in there and he's going to do away with the FDA. He's going to do away with Social Security. He's doing away with vaccination laws. And no. Where is this coming from?
Gay rights and abortion are gone. Gay rights and abortion are going to end. It's just...
We're going to get killed, and they're going to start killing people. Why? Where is this coming from?
Right. And I hate to say it, but if he were to get rid of the FDA, I actually think he was doing a good job.
Maybe that would prevent natural selection and start taking its course.
Well, I mean, it's like the FDA does anything anyway. 90% of the food that it's ingested in this country, that's allowed in this country, is banned in the rest of the world.
Not to mention it's full of microplastics and everything else. I mean, who cares?
It's not a coincidence that when Europeans come here and eat the same amount of food, they get sick. And when Americans go over to Europe or Asia and they eat the same amount of food, they're healthy. Nothing happens to them. I remember one time, one of my closest friends who I would consider a political mentor, Stephen Alsh, he was telling me once about how he couldn't eat gluten, he couldn't eat tomatoes, he couldn't eat cheese, he couldn't eat bread when he was here. But when he went to Europe, he was able to eat all of those things without any issues. With no problems, he was able to eat cheese, bread, tomatoes. Nothing.
I get that, okay, but I'm talking about this political strife that these people are going through right now. I really want to know where they're getting their information from. I've seen so many junk posts on my Facebook in the last 2 days or last 3 days. It's like, I've never seen anywhere where Trump said he was going to start allowing people to kill women. I've seen that one already.
Right.
All of these weirdos are crying about losing their rights. I haven't seen anything like that.
Yeah, again, this is the same stuff that's on 2016 when they cried about Trump being president. They're going to bring the camps. They're going to round everybody up. Oh my God, it's going to be horrible. It's like,
but who starts these rumors? That's what I want to know. It's worse than delusional. Thank you for that, Facebook user. Welcome to the show.
It's an insult to the word delusional. At least delusions are just a severe exaggeration of something that might be true. These idiots, on the other hand, are just... I don't get it. I can't even say crazy. It's an insult to crazy.
It really is. To say these people are mentally unbalanced is an insult to people that are mentally unbalanced.
Honestly,
It,
I think some
it's
of honestly, I think some of the more popular posts are probably like people who are actors saying that. But so the rest of these idiots saying it and they're actually believing it, they're not long. They're not for long. They don't.
Who is that? Why is it saying Facebook? I don't know why it's saying Facebook user.
I don't know either. I mean, I probably
Who is that? Is that Hoey?
probably.
He's probably dying and doesn't know it yet. I don't even know what page they're watching on.
I don't know either. I'm gonna check. I'm checking it right now, but
It's either
that's
that's
Hoey.
weird.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not even delusional at this point. It's I want to know where these rumors started or how they even got started, because nowhere in any speech or any type of inside nothing where Trump or Trump's camp or anything to that side or effect of it has said anything like that.
Right. I just think a lot of this is just privilege. I think a lot of this is privileged people that are just upset that
No,
they're
it's not just privileged, because I see it coming from poor, I see it coming from middle class, I see it coming from rich people, and it's a diverse group of idiots. It's that's the easiest way to explain it. A diverse group of idiocracy. Nowhere is anybody going to take to the streets to start killing women.
Right.
You know, your rights that you've been fighting for are going to stay in place. Yeah, but it's not just Project. Trump's already openly said that he is not a supporter of Project 2025. He didn't even know about it until he didn't even know about it until they brought it up to him. And I had been seeing for months that he was, one of the people that were sponsoring it. He didn't even know about it.
Yeah, Professor Faker. What up? What up? But no, these people are insane. It's like they're just saying things to say them.
I think StreamYard is broken. Because we had two different people commenting, and everybody's showing up as fake Facebook user.
Yeah, the whole thing is a mess. But then again, so is I don't.
Zuckerberg, you run a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Come on now. I mean, you can do better than this. This is past the point of ridiculous. Messenger's always messed up. Come on. It really is. It is the same as the Russian collusion. That's been proven that didn't happen.
Right. And of course, nobody got sued for that. So.
Well, why would they?
Well, I'm just saying
their side's not going to sue their own side.
Right.
You got to think about it. The ones that started all of those rumors are all controlled opposition and all paid by the liberal media.
But that I know, but I'm just saying, they tend to pick and choose when they get upset about misinformation being, spread all over the country and all over social media. It's like, wait a second, why is it okay for
this is misinformation?
Huh? Yeah, exactly. And nothing happened. Yeah. Same with what happened in 2020. Same with this. Same with when it comes to the shutdown, and same with, but yet because some lunatic. Some former roided up lunatic, starts yelling about Sandy Hook, everyone goes nuts. But yet when you have a quote unquote physician who misleads the public about the shutdown, and you have people in 2016 misleading the public about the Russian nonsense, and nothing happens to them at all. I mean, that's just...
Consider the young kids. They haven't been taught any history, culture, literature, etc. that's not filtered through their ideological filter, and no one's ever shown them anything different. The echo chamber is real, and that is true. Harvard suspended classes today in the wave of the election. So, and they were bringing out like support animals and everything else if you were too stressed out about
Harvard?
Yes.
The same university where half of the CIA agents end up graduating from? Harvard?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
This administration, what did you expect though? This administration literally weaponized the Justice Department to go after Trump just because they don't like him.
The whole thing is nuts, but I do agree with Professor Fate when he says, the young kids haven't been taught anything at the echo chamber severe, but this is the same crap that happened 8 years ago. And these kids are supposed to be the ones looking these things up and researching them, and they're supposed to be more on top of this stuff than you and I. And yet they're falling for the same stuff as like 70-year-old boomers. It's I don't get it. All I know is that humanity deserves to suffer. I'm sorry. If this is supposed to be best on our brightest, then
this is funny because I've also been seeing a bunch of the left right now saying that this election was a fraud.
Yeah.
What? Okay, well, if it's a fraud, where did your 15 million people that voted out of nowhere? The most in the history of any election, 15 million people that just appeared in the middle of the night. Where did those people go? Why didn't they help y'all out this time?
Who's Facebook user?
Everybody is.
Apparently.
Everybody is Facebook user tonight.
Yeah, I just, the fact
Welcome to the show, Miss Jackie.
Oh, yeah. Welcome aboard, everybody. Miss Hyde herself, Miss Herbalations. The fact that this is the same cyclical crap we saw 8 years ago, and nobody seems to have learned anything from this. It's like, I'm kind of at the point where when people when the elites want to genocide humanity, I'm kind of understanding their point of view here. If people are that fucking stupid, they really don't deserve to live. I'm sorry.
But the thing is it's a minority. The ones that believe all of this weirdness is a minority.
Yeah.
The silent majority finally decided to speak during this election. They didn't speak in 2020, but then again, 15 million votes just came from out of nowhere.
Right. No, that is true.
Oh my goodness, we just found 15 million votes.
Overnight.
Where did those people go to? Yeah, right. Where did these people go this time?
Right. I get. This whole thing is just. High-End says, let's be honest, everyone who voted, every one of them merely voted for the level of fascism they self-identified with or were comfortable with. Yeah, pretty much. I can't. It's hard to say otherwise. It's just, I guess one form of fascism is where they get to, where they can't afford anything, and another form of fascism is where they can. So, I don't know. It goes back to the whole thing. It's just, people just aren't ready for that. They're really not ready. They're really not ready for any of it. What it takes to finally step away from the matrix, people are not. If they wouldn't be crying about nonsense. It'd just be like, okay, cool. But
it's just, I've never. Let's see. I'm gonna look and see if I can find some of this stuff.
I just can't. I just don't understand how history repeats itself like this. Like this blatantly. Oh yeah. Oh, and if you're one of the people crying about Trump being president, then you must really hate this day, because this was the day 8 years ago where you were crying back then.
Here's one. Buffett warned of higher taxes being warranted. Elon warned of economic hardship to come. Be ready for huge cuts and layoffs to maintain and increase tax cuts. 2 different ways to deal with deficit spending. The average person will suffer. Where is this at? Where has this been said? Where is this plan at? Okay, that's just one.
Yeah, well, Hoey, I forgot to tell you, today is November 8th, and 2024. That means it is the 8th anniversary of Trump becoming president. So the first time around. So you should be celebrating this day. High-End says the choice was a better polished used car salesman style of fascism or more overt version gaslit as patriotism. I mean, it is, but at the end of the day, people aren't ready for that. So, I mean, we can't. I mean, we can. Can we like have an actual, honest conversation about leaving the system here? We can't sit
Here we
there and
go.
say,
Here we go. Here's what they're wanting women to do. Dear women of America, here's a short explanation of these movements. 4B, no dating, intimacy, marriage, or having children with cis men. In parentheses, dating apps, flings, weddings, family planning. Thank you for not reproducing. I'm just going to go out there and say that now.
Of course,
We're glad you're deciding not to do anything because that saves most men from having to deal with a psychotic mess.
Yeah.
B4B, prioritizing support and solidarity among women, mentorship, friendship, networking. That's not anything outside of normalcy. 5B, avoiding any emotional labor and energy spent on men. Once again, thank you for not making us deal with psychotic messes.
I mentioned
6B,
this on it. Oh, God.
Boycotting pink tax products, misogynistic companies, beauty brands, clothing stores. Okay, so y'all will be ugly, so y'all will be unappealing anyway, so it doesn't matter. 7B, all of the above. Yes, please do that. You'll save us a lot of headache.
You know what's funny about all this? These are the same people that talk about how stupid religion is and how religion is nonsense and all of that, and yet the way they're going, they're behaving like nuns. They've become religious. I think I mentioned this on one of our friends' pages. I was just like, wait a second. These people have found, it sounds like they found religion. They found religion. Look at them. They're behaving like nuns at a monastery. You know, voluntary abstinence. Okay. All right, but can we get back? All right, let me read what Robert Walker said. Elon and Skynet are going to save us all. LOL. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one's saving us. But that being said, can we have an actual conversation about leaving the system? If we're going to talk about actually leaving the system, that means we can't not paying attention at all. That means people shouldn't be paying taxes. They shouldn't be paying attention to pop culture. They shouldn't be definitely paying attention to politics. So, I mean, what are we talking about? So, I mean, what are we talking about here? I mean, that also means no memes either. So, I mean, and people shouldn't be working. So, I mean, what are we talking about? I mean, how exactly we're going to exit the system if no one's really ready to do that? Everyone claims they are, but yet, I don't know.
It's just...
And I just don't get it. It's like if people want to leave
in the
system,
coming days and months, a great number of people among us will be compromised. To be clear, I will never comply or walk away from my beliefs. Nobody's making you.
Right.
I mean, this stuff is just really...
Yeah, religion's been a political mechanism, but that doesn't mean everything about it is BS when it comes to the spirituality side. I just find it funny that they've all become spiritual, apparently.
See, this is it right here. Congratulations to poorly educated. Really? Y'all have been taking to social media platforms for the last 2 days and crying and screaming like a bunch of idiots.
All right.
And you really think y'all are smarter than us? Really? And I'm not saying us as in Republicans. I'm saying us as the general public because we're the ones that voted him back into office. And that's one of the reasons they lost. You can't fathom that others can see through the carefully constructed narrative to their side. Tell me I'm wrong. You can't. Jackie, are you there?
Mm-hmm.
Jackie.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie. Is she still here?
Right. No, Professor Fed, I do agree. Most people do want to control the system.
It's just ridiculous. I had a friend of mine text me yesterday. She had an audition with The Voice, and because she wasn't outraged at the fact that Donald Trump won, they wouldn't let her sing. You know?
I mean, yeah, it is. The whole thing is just a mess. But this is why I left this stuff years ago, because it's just low level entertainment, really.
But it's not so much entertainment as it more is a problem. Yeah, religion has always been a political system, yes. They are melting. Whoever made that comment is simply virtue signaling. Yes.
Which comment?
The one that you know, the one I read earlier, that post that I read earlier.
Yeah, that really is virtue signaling.
He won the popular vote. They literally can't fathom it. They wanted to scream about democracy, 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 democracy. That's what happened. That's what happened. Democracy spoke. The system has to fail successfully. All about the third temple. What third temple? What are you talking about?
I don't know. Some other.
Their thinking and their psychology mirrors religion 100%. Yeah, to an extent.
Yeah. Well, the thing I've learned is that there's some things whether it's any belief system that have
I can't read this one out loud, but I'll put it up there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But that's hold on. You missed the point. That's exactly what I said the other day. How can you vote for someone that you literally didn't put there in the nomination to begin with? You had people like Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, Chuck Schumer, and a bunch of other ones talking about how Biden was sharp as a tack. He's all great. He's nothing wrong with him. And then we saw him at the debate. We saw that. We all did. I know you saw it, didn't you, Harsh? The debate?
Yeah. That was.
We seen what condition Biden's in. So that pretty much told us all that y'all are nothing but a bunch of liars. And then y'all want to sit there and act surprised that your candidate didn't get elected. Well, of course not. The American public had no faith in your administration. And you can't sit there and run on the guys that, I'm going to fix everything. But at the same time, you've been sitting in there for 4 years and haven't lifted a finger. You just sat back and watched everything get destroyed. I've been seeing this one a lot lately. I wonder what the gravity is behind that one. Solomon's Temple.
Linda, that's a good point. It's a very good point. But yeah, I mean, the thing I don't like is when everyone says, okay, well, just because this situation happened, that means this entire industry is BS, or just because this situation happens, this entire belief is BS. It's like, I don't know, it just seems very simplistic to say when life is not really that simple, like nothing's, very rarely are things in life, yes and no, or good or bad. There's a lot of gray area. That's why it's like, yeah, I understand the agnostic and atheism stuff, and I understand that religion's terrible, but it's like, and I understand people bastardized spirituality, but at the same time, it's like, you know, not everything is not everything is horrible. You know,
All I
things
know
are
is that the only thing they managed to do the last 4 years was split the country even worse than it was before.
Yeah.
I have never seen this much divisiveness in this country since I've been around. You know, I've never seen people hate each other so much before.
Well,
Why
I mean, it's. I'm sure. Well, you may have never seen it, but I'm sure a place at times like the 50s and 60s existed where, you know.
Well, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about since then. I mean, this is over. These people hate each other over political beliefs.
Yeah.
You know. No, Holy's such a diehard Red person. I don't even have to know who that is. I could see it says Facebook user, and I still already know who said that.
Say what you want about Hoey. He's a very what do you call it? You know, he's a very interesting stereotype. When he goes full stereotype, it's funny.
He only does that when he's watching NASCAR.
Which is weird because he sounds like such a nerd. He sounds like such a nerd. Hi guys, I'm Hoey. You're not a troll, okay? I'm not a troll, okay? Stop it. I'm not a troll. Stop calling me a troll. Like, it's just so weird. But yeah, they are controlled. Yeah, but both of these things are controlled opposition, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh yeah, the Pepsi versus Coke battle. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
All rational critique of the cause or the dear leader is excused, deflected, justified, denied, or projected back on the accuser who is portrayed as pure evil. No amount of logic or appeals to reality can break through the emotional armor because contradictions and logistical consistency mean nothing to the cult mind. But yet they want to call us a cult. Anybody that disagrees with them, regardless of who or what they support, is a MAGA cult member according to these idiots. I'm going to be flat out honest. I didn't like either one of them. And I remember telling Harsh this several times. It doesn't matter who's going to win the election. The outcome's not going to be a good outcome anyway.
Right. It's really not, because the only difference is now, instead of someone that everyone hates, it's going to be someone that like is a false hero.
Hoey versus Sherbert Walker voiceovers. Johan, did you just use a 4-syllable word in a Facebook Live?
Yes, he did.
MAGA is way larger than a cult. It's a movement. Yeah. I know I wouldn't say it's a movement. Anytime the American public loses so much faith in a presidency, they're going to lose that presidency regardless.
I got a question for you, Scott. Knowing what we know about Trump and knowing what we know about Elon Musk, how long do you think it'll take for Hoey to get that nice brand new Neuralink chip in his brain?
As soon as it becomes about the same price as a 12-pack of beer, he's going to be all over it.
So like 8 years from now. Okay.
Animal sacrifice.
No, that is true. No, that their temple, there are a lot of animal sacrifices that take place. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave that alone. But no.
Wait, who said it was a bowel movement? MAGA's a bowel movement.
Probably high end.
High end hobo, you shush. I got my thesaurus and shiz.
God.
These are your friends, Harsh.
No, well, about time. The craziness was on my side, came from my side, not yours. So.
No, I bring some crazy ones around from time to time.
I know. I mean, you got Mr. MAGA And you're the one who brought Mr. Maga to us.
Mr. Maga.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start calling him that every time I see him now. Mr. Maga.
Mr. Maga. He is Mr. Maga.
Joey, how long did it take to get all of the campaign bumper stickers off of your car?
Hey man,
I bet you that was
Hey man, I'm not removing them, okay? Scott, stop.
That was a day-long job. I don't care what anybody says.
They make my whip look. They make my whip.
No, he took them off.
Okay?
He took them off. He sent me a picture of the back of his car.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, okay. So the only thing that's left is the "We the People" sticker on the back window, you know? And I was like, well, that probably took him, you know, like an hour and a half. It took him an hour and a half to take all those bumper stickers off his car.
Good for him. Good for him.
Well, I guess he figured he didn't need them anymore. Trump got elected. And I've actually seen some posts in some groups. It's like, they're still counting votes. There's still the chance that she might steal it. No, it's done. It's over. It's over. Sorry, folks. Show's over.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business, folks.
Yep. Y'all gave that man a promotion. He's off to the White House now. It's done. Anytime the other candidate concedes, it's over with.
Don't worry, Hoey. You can come to the White House anytime. I just won't pay for your gas.
Hoey says I didn't need a teed off blue hair messing my car up because they lost.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Sorry to keep you waiting, folks. Complicated business. And wasn't it just great that people came there? It was absolutely wonderful. People like Joseph. I love the poorly educated.
Now, here's the thing. Where does people like Letitia James stand from New York with her 34 felony case now?
The unemployment line. The unemployment.
Is she going to continue pushing that, or is she going to let it go, or is she going to dismiss the charges, or?
I mean, what happens? My question is she going to be able to keep her legal license, or is she going to be disbarred?
I mean, personally, I feel as though anytime you take a misdemeanor and you trump it up to a felony just to get your point across, you should be disbarred.
Yeah. In theory,
you should lose your job.
In theory, she should, but I also remember two rather highly prominent attorneys who fucked up the most simplest case in the history of Los Angeles. Christopher Darden and Marcia Clark. And no, they never disbarred. Everyone just made fun of them. But
how do we get Hoey off of death row? We stopped selling him beer.
I know, really. I'm kidding. We stopped selling him beer, and we stop entertaining his temper tantrums.
I have a feeling this is what's going to happen, but Letitia James is not backing down. She's already said that, the law of the people is what matters most, and I'm going to enforce it.
But for real,
as she stared off into one eye into the camera and the other eye off to the side somewhere, and I'm still trying to figure that one out, but whatever.
But the thing I don't get is but in reality, how is anyone supposed to expect someone like that to be disbarred when like Christopher Darden and Marcia Clark from the OJ trial to get disbarred? And that was like some of the worst legal practice I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, that was so bad. If I was like in charge of the bar, I'd be like, look, you gotta go. You can't be teaching law to anybody. Like you can't have a legal license after that. That was like the worst. That was like the worst practice of law I've ever seen in my entire life. It was that bad. And
if it don't fit, you must have quit.
I mean, it was so bad that It was so bad that like
It's statute of limitations. That's the second time I've seen you say statute of limitations. It's statute.
yeah,
It's got a T on the end of it.
right. And it means something. It means something come for me because I've had my fair share of terrible attorneys. So I'm just saying, like it was so bad. They made some of them look like, Johnny Cochran. That was just...
The Cochran law firm. I remember they opened a Cochran law firm in Baton Rouge, and it was like the funniest thing. Everybody under the sun made so much fun of that. It wasn't even funny. Thank you, Webster. It's statute. 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 You can get it. If Webster says statue, there's no limitation statues anywhere. What do you see happening, though, in the next upcoming year or so? Do you see things getting better? I already know what some of his plans are. One of his plans is to ramp up the hell out of domestic oil production so you can literally starve Russia off the planet and collapse their economy. I do know that's one plan of action that he has. Another plan is he's planning on ending taxes on tips, like workers with tipped wages. He's planning on ending those taxes. He's planning on ending the taxes on Social Security payments. He's also planning a mass deportation of illegal aliens. But do you think any of that's going to be good for the country? He's also decided he's going to restart the Keystone Pipeline project. That's going to automatically reemploy over 100,000 people. What's wrong with those things that he's wanting to do that makes it so bad for the country? Actually, I would think it would lead to economic growth, wouldn't you? Harsh.
Yeah.
Harsh, this is your live stream. Pay attention to it.
I mean, I think it'll be a lot like the last presidential, like his last term. The first 2-3 years will be successful, and then after that, it'll go to hell. So.
Well, I mean, we already had a black flag event with him during 2020 and the COVID thing. I'm just going to sit here and watch you play on your phone.
I'm sorry. I'm just dealing with these people.
You're dealing with the comment section. Try talking to the people instead.
Yeah, try talking to them through the comments. I mean, you don't have to answer them in the comments.
I don't know what else to say about the whole Trump thing at this point. Yeah, the economy will be good for a few years, and then it'll just. Yeah.
You have enough to say typing.
Yeah.
No, because my thing is, it's like at the end of the day, Trump and Elon Musk are linked, and we know how Elon feels about microchipping people's brains. So I can't.
Do you know that for a fact, though? I mean, have you seen any paperwork saying that he wants everyone to have a Neuralink chip in their heads? I mean, the only thing I've seen him use it for now is for like the robotic prosthetics that he's putting on people.
I mean, you don't exactly open up a company like that just to launder money. You don't do that.
Yes, look, this right here. No answers without sources and stuff, yo.
I mean, no one has a company like that saying, "Oh, we could save you from this." The other, I mean, it's no different than the clot shot.
But I mean, but that's part of misinformation. It really is. That's no different than these women running around saying that they're going to get killed because Trump was elected.
What, Elon Musk?
Yeah, the whole Neuralink. Oh, he wants everybody to have Neuralink chips.
I'm sure he would from a business standpoint. I mean, that's his business, right? Is that not his business?
That's simple economics. When you raise the taxes on the rich, you literally make them pass more money on to the end consumer.
Yeah. Well, plus
because they're going to
everyone
stay rich. So all they're going to do is raise the prices of their products.
right, and plus everyone forgets. Plus everyone forgets the rich and the wealthy know how to dodge. Know how to like avoid paying taxes. That's what I don't understand how people say. It's like, okay, well, what about the rich and tax the rich, tax the rich? It's like, no. Saying things like that is like giving giving a police officer a scooter and telling them to pull over someone driving in a McLaren at like 130 miles an hour.
I heard he's going to make it so women can't drive anymore. Where? Where did you hear that from?
God, that's funny.
Although I will say most of them shouldn't be driving. Most men shouldn't be driving either. I don't know where that's going to be like a law. I really do believe it should be a law that anybody over the age of 65 should have to take their driving test once a year.
Right, but like I said, when it comes to Elon Musk and everyone forgets when it comes to Trump, he's the one who brought in Operation Warp Speed when it came to the experiment, when it came to the clot shot. Like everyone says, oh, Biden did this and Harris is like, no, Trump's the one who brought that into.
Okay, well let's ask the liberals a question. What happened to the ACP? That was something that Obama started that Trump made sure had funding in every spending bill. And then Biden just let it die. So now you have millions of people without internet now. Maybe that's the reason they were so uneducated and the reason they voted red. They didn't have internet anymore.
Wow, that's awesome.
Did you think about that? That's a social program where it was giving free internet to some people.
Yeah.
You know?
All right.
He heard it in a meme. If it's in a meme, it must be true. Somebody crap in your bed? You heard a herd?
I heard. That's awesome. But that being said, though, I mean, that's why like high end and all, that's why when high end talks about a different flavor of fascism, it is true because there's no real actual, that much of a difference. Like, I mean, everyone forgets the shutdown happened under Trump. It didn't start under, Sleepy Joe. It happened under.
And then on top of that, who stopped all the payments to the American people?
Well, that was Sleepy Joe.
I thought he was for the people. What about the people in North Carolina? They couldn't believe they voted red. When FEMA sat there and only gave each one of those people that lost everything $750 and said, sorry, there's no more money for you. We're out of money. But it's okay to send billions worth of dollars of equipment to the Ukraine? Why did they vote red then? That's why. When you screw the American people, they're going to get you out of that office. And that's basically what he's been doing for the last 4 years. It was a global pandemic, but Trump had started the whole unemployment thing where people were getting $700 a week. He made over, 4 or 5 different $600 payments for everybody. And then when Joe took over, all of that went away.
All right. And everyone forgets when it comes to the global pandemic, half of the world was still open. Or they only shut down for like a month or two. Everyone else was back, but this country for some reason would just shut down the whole time.
No, I don't need any moo-moos here. I don't wear pants anyway half the time, so it's fine.
Yeah, send it. Yeah, Scott will appreciate the extra order of moo-moos.
We'll get CSHR moo-moos. CSHR radio moo-moos.
All right.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yes.
But the thing is people forget that Trump is the one that put all of these programs in place, not Biden. Biden actually took all of those programs away. Within the first year at that, he took all of those programs away. You know, none of these presidents are for the American people. They're for their own special interest. And if anything, Trump showed more that he was a person of the people during his first term than Joe Biden ever did.
Yeah. Yeah. Poor Howie. I think Howie's upset that I mentioned the Trump and Elon Musk stuff. I think he's upset that I mentioned
Howie's gonna buy a Tesla in solidarity now.
I know. He's gonna buy a Tesla in solidarity. He's gonna get the Neuralink chip. He's gonna
buy a Tesla bot. One of those, I forgot what they call them.
He's gonna invest in SpaceX. He's gonna do all that. It's gonna be great.
Okay, funding ran out, hence our inflation, quote unquote inflation. You do realize on paper that doesn't work, right?
Yeah, Howie's going to Mars.
They don't have Budweiser on Mars, so you might want to slow down on that thought there. There's no NASCAR on Mars. There's no college girls walking around on a campus in Mars, Hoey. Yeah. Think about that carefully before you take off.
There's no ETOTs for you on Mars either, so.
Yeah, there won't be Model S's there on Mars. Yeah. I know he's a big Mustang guy, but watch, that's his next vehicle. He's going to buy a Cybertruck.
Yeah, I could see Hoey in a Cybertruck. He's got a Cybertruck. Poor Joseph.
That whole Elon hate thing, I still get a kick out of it because it's like, okay, well, he didn't come up with those ideas. No, he just spent the money to hire the people to do it for him. How's that make him different than any businessman? I mean, technically, it really doesn't. He's no different than anybody else.
Right? No. I think people criticize Elon because he gets a lot of hero worship when he doesn't deserve it. Like, if you compare him to like any other successful businessman, then yeah, he is like everyone else. But when people start like white knighting for him, it's kind of weird.
It is. I think he's just a businessman. Yeah. It really doesn't affect what I think either way.
Right.
Funding ran out, yet the Ukraine used Biden administration like a black card. And they did. That's the whole thing. That's what happened in North Carolina. All of these people had all of these landslide floods and everything else and lost everything. And then FEMA says, well, we don't have no money to help y'all with. But y'all have money to send to Ukraine. Well, it doesn't make any sense. If you could come up with billions of dollars to send over there, why can't you come up with billions of dollars to help your own people?
I remember one year the Pentagon just displaced $21 trillion and no one ever said anything about it. And it was like
that was during the Obama administration, wasn't it?
It might have been.
I think that's when it was.
Oh my God. Hey, if Hoey is my first customer, I might consider it. Hoey's my first customer, I might consider it.
And you see what we use for the powering is 18650 lithium-ion batteries, and they last long.
Okay, it was Bush Jr. I knew it was one of them. I knew it was several years ago. Well, apparently they found it.
Yeah, and FYI, for those of you who understand how the fiscal year works for the president, it starts every October when they're in office. It doesn't start in January. So, well, 9/11 was another. 9/11 was another one. That one was like a few trillion less. But yeah,
there was 2 times that they misplaced, quote unquote, misplaced money.
Right. That was when the Pentagon was going to be audited, and then 9/11 happened. So
that solves the dreaded toilet paper shortage. Last time they said a hurricane was coming here, everybody went and bought all the toilet paper again. And it's like, what do y'all?
Yeah. Yeah. You there? That's all. Scott, are you muted? All right, we are at the 51-minute mark of the show. I wonder if we should have this as open forum. What do you think, Scott? All right, Scott, are you there? Oh, now it says Biden took his volume. Damn it! Nobody took my volume but me. Oh God. Scott, you muted yourself. So, all right, it's just weird though. Everyone just falls for controlled opposition a lot. But then again, we live in a society where everything is based off of that. So, none of it's all that surprising. ShamWow. I remember that day. I remember those days. They should have bought ShamWows. Way better at soaking up water. Yeah. Howie is such a stereotype. He's such a stereotype. He's so funny. Like, Howie's such a stereotype. I wonder if he's a real person. But we all know he is because, stereotypes are true sometimes. Oh, man. Okay. ShamWow and OxyClean-based currency. That might not be the worst idea. Biden took his volume. Yeah, that's possible. Oh my God! My toilet paper. All right. Who wants to join the show in the meanwhile? Because the only thing I could say is that when it comes to all these things, just be careful. Be careful and prepare for what happens next. That's all I can say. Try to be prepared for what happens in the next few years because it's going to be a wild ride. If we do have another shutdown, just make sure you're prepared for it. That's all. Because with the way things are going, it's... Yeah. They say I'm more worried for the fall. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of those in the next few months. That's for sure. So. And now we have
Hi, Harsh.
Hello
I'm
there.
back. We had a little technical difficulties here for a second. Sorry about that.
That's good to know. High End says the Duke of Yuma is doing military exercises for the next 15 minutes. No, that's.
You sure it's going to be that long worth of exercises?
Well, he's got to. He's got to get all that hatred for certain baseball teams out of system. So that would probably be for the best. Boot camp yoga and I think that would help. That would help a lot.
You see, this is the Cajun thing in Hobo. Most Cajuns misspell everything because, just like go, we can't say G-O. We have to spell it like G-E-A-U-X.
Well, High End misspells everything to be funny. He doesn't do it to like.
No, I don't think he does it to be funny. I think that's actually how he spells.
Yeah, that is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it.
I mean, I remember one time he gave me a missed call, and then I checked my and then it came up as an anagram for like one of his fake names. I'm like, you got to be kidding! Like he doesn't even spell his own name properly. That's how he doesn't even spell his own name properly. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I'm not gonna say nothing else.
Yeah, I didn't fully freeze. That was the weird thing. I didn't fully freeze, just my audio froze. Yeah. Like the audio software that we use here at the station froze. I don't know what happened there.
No. Technology. High End says I spell gooder than you. Is that really something you want to brag about? Is that really something you want to brag?
Dude, somebody screenshot that comment.
Oh, wow.
I spell gooder than you.
Is that really something you want to brag about? I'm just saying. Oh,
welcome to WCHR, the tie wire and duct tape and bubblegum station.
Literally. I can't believe we actually do this professionally. What? Isn't that scary? We actually are on the radio.
I mean, it's no different than people that cried on TikTok videos thinking they could run the country. I mean, it's kind of the same thing. Except we actually did it,
I've had this conversation though, and based on some of the things that you've said in regards to the blue-haired liberals contradicting themselves to the point of no return, and some of the things High End brought up today. I'm wondering, can people really exist without a system? With the way
I think so.
With the way they've been conditioned now, not like the way.
Oh no. No, I think the last generation that could have lived without a system was the elder millennials like yourself and Gen Xers like me. Yeah. We were the last parts of the generations that could live without a system.
Yeah, that's true. I would have complained
because you really didn't hear a lot about mainstream stereotyping until the millennials got younger. Yeah. And then Gen Z started popping up. That's when a lot of entitlement flew all over the place. But then again, you can blame my generation for raising a bunch of soft ass people too.
Yeah, and my generation didn't really do all that much to help the system either, because some of them have already raised some of the Zoomers, and some of them, are just stuck in their own, feelings and traumas and all that other crap.
Well, I mean, a lot of the elder millennials were raised like we were.
Yeah.
And like I said, I really do believe like older millennials like yourself and Gen Xers like myself could live without a system. Yeah. Anybody that's past that halfway point in Gen Z and Gen Alpha, not going to happen.
No. I mean, I kind of had this thought. It may get to a point where with the way things end up collapsing with, like, especially if there's like an EMP raid, or if this, the system just collapses, like electronically, like all electricity just shuts down. We may have to get to a point where you have to run you may have to get some of those old school cars from like the 50s, 60s, and 70s again. And it may end up getting to a point where the only people to be able to fix it are the senior citizens who are who are suffering from dementia or like Alzheimer's, where they don't know what year it is, and they just help you fix the car from the 70s, from like the 50s. I always think of that,
Yeah, but at the same time, if you were raised like I was, I mean, we can process our own meat. We can grow our own food.
Yeah.
We were taught that because, I mean, I was raised in the country in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
You know, I mean, where I was raised at, if the Goodyear blimp blew over, half these people would have ran off into the woods thinking the Germans were attacking. You know, I mean, it's, you know, all ass backwards. Those people would survive if something like that happened. Nintendo and technology made people lazy. That is definitely true.
Yeah, it did.
People's idea of the good life was shopping mall success. Not necessarily. What the good life was is when you could go into a store and spend $150 and leave with 2 baskets full of groceries. That happened when I first became an adult. I mean, gas was still 99 cents a gallon.
Yeah.
And I remember people thinking it was outrageous when it reached $1.25 a gallon.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure you remember that too. You were a lot younger than me, but you remember that.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
only, what,
Man,
10 years younger than me?
sadly, 8. But,
Or 8
you know,
years, you know? So, I mean,
yeah, I do remember that when people were going nuts over when gas was, oh my God, it's going to be more than $2 a gallon. What the, you know?
yeah, I remember when trucks would go on strike when it hit $1.75 a gallon.
Yeah.
Truck drivers would go on strike.
Yeah, you know,
I
it's so
remember going
crazy.
into the grocery store and spending $50 and having a week's worth of food.
Yeah.
Things
You know what's,
were better then.
yeah. You know what's crazy that no one really seems to like understand? Like all these people, I don't want to just say, oh, it's a political thing because it's from both sides, but a lot of like the blue hair types, especially the liberal types, who are like, oh, we're smarter because we live in the cities and blah, blah, blah. It's like, not really. I think it's crazy how the people who are most maligned as like stupid and uneducated and hillbilly and all that other crap, they're the ones who are the most prepared. They're the ones who are
Yeah.
most prepared for when things collapse. Like even dare I say the Amish, you
Oh,
know?
the Amish, they're just going to keep on trucking along like nothing happened.
Right.
They're already living that life.
Right. And then like all the people that are told that they're uneducated and stupid and rubes, I'm using quotes because it's not true. They're the ones who are going to be fine. They're going to be like, well, so much for that. Let's go back to let's go get some supper. They'd be
Yeah.
fine. Everyone else will be like, ah, crap. What are we gonna do? They're all stuck in the cities. They're gonna be the ones panicking the most.
They're going to wind up eating each other, trying to survive.
Yeah.
They're going to eat their pets. They're going to become the Haitians. They're going to eat their cats. They're going to eat their dogs.
All right. I think I don't know if this is high end or someone else's. Just like a lot of people in the country aren't as self-sustaining as you might assume.
They're not.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're more skilled, like the people who go out and hunt every year.
Yeah.
You know, the ones that go fishing every weekend.
Yeah.
You know, it's not hard to figure out how to use a solar panel to get electricity. It's not hard to figure out how to set up a wheel in a creek somewhere to turn a generator. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I would see the most if, like, say, and this is just let's say a hypothetical thing. Say, China, Russia, North Korea, whoever, whichever idiot country you want to select, manages to destroy the electrical grid here in the United States with an EMP.
Mm-hmm.
The cities would literally erupt into chaos
Right.
almost immediately. And they wouldn't know what to do. Whereas people where I'm from would just light a bunch of flashlights and go figure out how to get a generator spinning.
Right. And to go off a high end thought, it's like, he's correct that okay, there's a lot of people in the country aren't as self-sustaining as you might assume. But that being said, it's a very low bar. It's a very low standard. Like
Right.
even the people in the country who aren't that self-sustaining are still gonna have more life skills than most of the people in the cities.
I mean, most people in cities don't even know how to check their oil in their car.
Yeah.
God forbid if they have a flat tire.
Yeah.
You know, Whereas, Harsh, I bet you know how to change a flat if you get a flat, don't you?
Sadly, I do.
If you got pressed and needed to change the oil in your car, you could figure it out, couldn't you?
Yep. Same with the radiator. Man, when I drove that piece of crap Nissan Sentra from like the early 90s, I still have the radiator fumes in my nose from that. That's how often I had to deal with the radiator getting fixed.
When I was a kid, I had a 81 Datsun diesel pickup truck that the radiator developed a leak. And that's when I found out the joys of black pepper.
Yeah.
You could put black pepper in a radiator and it would literally seal a leak. A lot of people don't know that.
Black pepper.
And every time I would have to add water to it and take the cap off, it always smelled like somebody was cooking something underneath the hood of the truck.
Right. No, I mean, the whole thing is just, yeah, I mean, yeah, if you can't change a flat tire, you shouldn't drive a car.
You know how many times I'll be driving down the interstate here and see a car pulled over on the side of the road with one of those DOTD trucks behind them to help them change a tire, and there's like 5 guys standing outside. And it's like, really, none of y'all knew how to change that tire? You had to wait for the DOTD guy to show up to do it for you? Come on.
I think with some of those guys, they might just do it. They might just do that just to as a status symbol. Hey, I got insurance now. I don't need to do this anymore. It's like
It does. I'm not going to sit there and wait on the side of the road for an hour and a half for somebody to show up to change my tire when I could do it in 30 minutes and be on my way.
Yeah. No, I'd be in the same. Yeah, I'd probably do the same thing. You know, because I'm like, you can't. No matter how good your your roadside insurance is, you still have to be able to do things on your own.
Right.
And plus, if they tow the car, you can't drive it anymore. Whereas if you change the tire, yeah, you could do it. You can still, get along far enough.
Oh boy. I don't know where this country's headed for the next 4 years, but hopefully it's going to be in a better position than it was in the last 4. I mean, I really didn't see anything good come from this administration. Nope. So I'm hoping that everything that Trump ran on, he actually does what he says he wants to do. Yeah. And a lot of the reasons the Dems also lost is they were more worried about transgender rights than what the American people were actually worried about.
Yeah, I mean, I never understood I know time traveling exists, and I understand that the concept exists, but I've never understood how people are often enamored with time travel until you see people who, until you see Democrat types talking about social issues as if it's like 30, 40, 50 years ago. It's like, grow up. Like,
I would like to go back just 20 years. I'd be a multi-billionaire right now.
I mean, if I were going to time travel to the 90s, I'd rather watch like Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls play the Patrick Ewing and the New York Knicks and talk about like social issues like gay rights and abortion. Are you kidding?
No, I would buy all the stock I could in like Google.
Well, that too.
All the stock
Google,
I could in
Amazon.
Facebook.
Well,
oh yeah, I'd be a multi-billionaire right now.
Yeah, like I would be trying to time travel when it comes to social issues like abortion and all. It's like, it's stupid. If you're gonna time travel to have fun or time travel to make money. Don't time travel to sit there. You know what?
If abortion is so much of a problem to you, then learn how to use contraceptives.
Right.
Or close your legs.
Right. I mean, my whole thing is like some of these people, like, you know what? If I was alive in the 80s, I would have taken a bullet for Harvey Milk. I would have stood up for someone being persecuted with AIDS. I would have stood up for someone who was gay. I would have stood up for a woman who was being shunned. It's like, oh my God.
We both know that these people that say things like that would have never done it.
Of course not. Heck,
they would have never done it.
Heck, the people yelling about these social issues now were probably against them 20, 30 years earlier.
Johann Claus would be on the 90210.
Hey, yeah, he'd be a perfect fit. Him and Jason Statham. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Hey, so
I would have watched it then because it would have been more enjoyable than watching Jason Priestley run around on the screen crying the entire show. You know what I mean?
I know, yeah, Professor Fate hooking up with Tori Amos. Good for you, Professor Fate. Good for you, Johan.
Why would he go after the one that looked like a horse?
Just for the sake of, you know.
That girl was butt ugly then. She's still butt ugly now.
Yeah, just for the point of power. Just
you know like, those stress reliever things that you squeeze them and their eyes pop out?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking? That's what she looks like to me. Like somebody squeezed her too hard and she got stuck like that.
Exactly. So good for him. Or whomever. I don't even remember that show. It was like,
well, there was Shannon Daughtery, Tori. Who else was on that show? What other nice looking female was on that show? Beauty is in the eye of the butt holder.
Yeah, well, Jenny Garth.
Yeah, Jenny Garth. And I don't remember who else. But Tori, you had to pick the ugliest one out of the entire cast to throw to Professor Fate. That's just.
I'm just saying, let Professor Fate manipulate them all. Who cares?
Professor Fate, that's what he's trying to tell you. You need to go find the ugliest woman that's available right now and start dating her, and you'll be good. You'll be fine.
Yeah. You know, then slowly but surely get the Jenny Garths and everyone else. Good for him.
So you're saying that he would have used Tori as like a step up, and then just step up from there.
Right.
Okay, so you start off with the ugly one, and then you move on to the hot ones.
Of course.
That's how that works? Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Okay. I was confused for a second. I'm sorry. I needed you to clarify that.
No. Of course, no. We'll get into that later. If you go straight to the hot ones, that could be hit or miss. You know. It's like,
I will say one thing. No matter how hot a woman is, somebody got tired of her crap and dumped her.
I'm not talking about relationships. I'm just saying, you know, about talking about relationships.
Do not make fun of Barry Manilow that way.
Is it
that's
Robert
our?
Walker?
Yeah, that's our show, Barry Manilow. Man, don't throw him under the bus like that, buddy.
Oh yeah, no, he's such a. He's so funny. Well, he does have the temper tantrum.
Robert caused us the most problems with copyright infringements when we first started these shows before we had our radio licenses and stuff. We used to get hit with copyright infringements over every show because we were playing Brandy in the background.
Oh God, it was Mandy and some of the others. I remember, like, I will
Pina
say
Coladas.
Robert, yeah, Copacabana. I remember one time Robert Walker. Sometimes he does throw some very feminine temper tantrums, though. I remember one time he got so angry that he kept bringing up like after Perfect Strangers. Like he said, "Hey, Harsh, you look like
Balky.
You look like Balky from Perfect Strangers." And it's
how
like,
you're not even white enough to be Bronson Pinchot. I mean, come on.
I mean, Robert, nobody cares about that show. Like, are you? I'm sorry.
Did he?
And he got so upset that like no one would get that reference. I'm like, Robert, nobody
watched the show.
Right. I mean, maybe he did as a teenager, but like in the 80s, but like no one was watching that show.
Everybody else is too busy watching Alf.
Right. Hey,
which that popped up on my TV the other day, and I was like, really? I haven't seen that since I was a child.
Right. Alf, Married with Children.
What was some of the other ones? Family Matters.
Yeah. Family Matters spun off of Perfect Strangers.
Which one?
Family Matters actually was a spin-off of the show Perfect Strangers, because I remember
Carl Winslow was in Family Matters.
Yeah, Carl Winslow's wife was in Perfect Strangers, and then that's how they got into Family Members.
Well, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Carl Winslow was also, he made a few appearances as Carl Winslow on Perfect Strangers.
I remember one time being friends with it was Harriet that was in that show too. I remember one time being friends with a guy who looked like who actually looked like Carl Winslow. He kept making fun of him.
He wasn't a Chicago PD officer, was there? Or what police department was he in? I don't even remember
No,
now.
he was no, he wasn't from there. He was actually from like I think it was from the East Coast, but we kept showing a photo of him when he had no hair. And we compared it to Carl Winslow. It was like, what the hell? It's like, how funny. Oh, God. He looked just like
Carl Winslow.
yes.
I had a friend of mine when we were in school that looked just like Steve Urkel.
Did I do that?
He even dressed up like Steve Urkel for Halloween one year, and we about died.
Oh my God, I don't even want to mention his name.
He had the dance moves down and everything. It was hilarious.
He did the Urkel?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I remember that was one year. I think I was like maybe 12 or 13, and I decided I wasn't going trick-or-treating because I was too old for that, you know. And he knocks on the door, and my mom opens the door, and he sets a boombox down that was playing music, and he started doing the Urkel in my living room.
Oh my God.
And I about died. I started having worries about the country at that point.
Oh my God. Yeah, I just realized something. Gerard is kind of like the Steve Urkel of live streamers. I'm just kidding.
Where's Gerard? Page Gerard right now.
Yeah. Then Mars trying to save humanity. Mars, Texas trying to save humanity. I know, but did I do that?
I was so glad when that show went off the air. I was like, finally.
Yeah.
I like the fact that they wrote Judy, the little sister, off, and nobody noticed.
No,
she was like on the show one week, and then after that, she was gone, and nobody ever said a word.
Yeah, kind of messed up. You know who I just realized something. You'd be like, you know who's like the Urkel of like Trump supporters?
What, that man woman that's in the Department of Health right now, or
no, that's I'm trying to know. That's a different character. No, that's not her. That's no, not that one. That's like John Goodman's character. That's like John Goodman cosplaying as Linda Tripp back in the day. That's who that man woman reminds me of. No, you know who kind of reminds me of the Urkel of some of these troll chats or some of the Trump movement?
Robert.
No, Hoey.
Who? Oh, Hoey.
Hi guys, did I do that? Don't be a troll, Harsh. You're not a troll. Stop doing that. Look, I never said I would.
If you want jitterless energy, go visit w.gg. Use the promo code CSHR Radio for 10% off your order.
I do that. And on that note, this has been another edition of Harsh Reality of CSHR Random Happening. We thank Scott for being alive and doing the sound work. We thank everyone for watching. This is Harsh Schmitz. I'm not going to let you. It's Harsh Schmitz to live with it. Sometimes the golden rule is in fact a two-way street. Also, stereotypes are true. And sometimes you got to color outside the line. Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of your beautiful